create time for reading, because you don't have to just be talking about your family. You're going to talk about a book. They're going to get to know a character in that book. So if you find quality literature and they're talking about honesty, they're dealing with subjects. They're talking about relationships between the father and the son and the mother or the siblings, friends, how they're affected by peer pressure. All those things come up in books that are written in a good way. And they're getting a message with you without you preaching it, without you teaching it. And it's something that you can talk about and all relate to. And if we have a lot of people are like, my child doesn't like to read, or we don't have time. And that's where, we've talked about this example before, but you really have to think, what are the big rocks? And
Stephen Covey talks about this in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, about a guy who was doing a conference on time management. And he stood up in front of the room and told them, this symbolizes all the available time you have. And the things that you put in here symbolize the things that you can do in your life. So he took out a few rocks, were pretty big in size. Here, honey, can you grab this?
Yeah.
And he asked them, can I fit these rocks in here? And it looked like maybe they wouldn't fit, but in a way that he knew just how to do it, he fit all the rocks in here.
Yeah. So usually, are we going to talk about the...
Well, you want to say that first, and then I'll exemplify it, or I'll finish the example first.
Okay. I just feel like we've talked about it before, but maybe you missed it, so go ahead.
Yeah, I probably missed it. So then, in a way that he knew just how, he put the rocks in there, and I forget exactly how it goes on me, but maybe you can. And he put them in, and they fit perfectly, right? And he asked them, "Can I fit anything else in here?" And they say, "Well, no, because it's pretty full." But he took out another jar full of gravel. Can you, honey? You wanna hold for me?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can fit them in there.
We did.
And it went through the cracks and it went right to the top, right? And then he asked them, "Can I fit anything else in here?"
Looks pretty full.
And people said, "Well, no, it's pretty full." But he took out a jar full of sand and then he filled it up again one more time. And then he asked them, "Can I fit anything else in here?" And they said, "Okay, no, that's it. It's too full." And he took out a jar full of water and he poured it to the top and it fit.
Yeah, and so they thought, wow. So I guess the moral of the story is that if you organize the things just right, you can do everything you want.
And he said, no. The moral is what, honey?
The moral is if you don't put the big rocks in first, they'll never fit.
Later.
Later.
So tell us about that. How does that exemplify?
So I was thinking about that example with things that we think are important and then we want our kids to value. So I'm going to get a big rock here. If you believe that one of the big rocks is that your child would love to read, then you can't wait. You can't fill their life with video games and sports commitments and who knows what with their telephone. You can't fill their life with that and then try to fit in reading good books. It's not going to happen. You have to decide, this is a big rock. We're going to put it in first. We're going to read together from the time that they're young. We're going to invest in really quality literature to have in our homes, things that are just going to invite them. And then we have to create a game we can win. So a big rock is not, if we decided a big rock wasn't going to be the video games, wasn't going to be, what do you call that? All the things they have now that they never
those games. I didn't even play them. So
I know.
They used to have a Wii, and now they have the Xbox and all those things.
All those things. And there's handheld ones. There's ones that go on your TV.
On your phone and the iPad.
Yeah, just you gotta wait. You gotta wait on it because they have to love reading first, or it's not. They're not gonna. Reading is not. Books are not gonna compete with those images and games. So put it in first. If you want your child to love and know who God is, then fit it in first with with talking about the Bible, reading the Bible together, worshiping together, talking about God when you're out in creation. It's got to come first, because later if you think, okay, Sundays at Sunday school, they're going to get that, I'm going to cram it in. It's a big rush. No, it's not going to fit. Yeah, those are just a couple examples. I know one thing that happens a lot in the United States is that we decide that the big rock of athletics and sports activities for our kids,
entertainment,
I guess because we have boys, that's going to be a priority. That's a big rock, and we put it in our jar first, and then they get good at their sport. And so it's not once a week that they have practice and one game a week. It becomes they need to be on this special team, and they're going to have practice every night. And then we're not just going to play games on Saturday. We have to play games on Sunday. And we're not just going to play locally. We're going to travel places. And so then, the jar is full of that sport. And you wonder why don't they have a relationship with God? Why don't they have a relationship with us? Why don't they want to read? Well, their life is full of that one thing. So something when they're little, they don't have to be professionals, make it fun. They don't even have to be on a team. We have a big enough family, there were enough kids that they could just play together in the backyard with dad.
We're not saying they shouldn't, right?
They're on teams,
Yeah, they're in teams, but you have to be strategic about it. When we talk about it since last week.
Yeah, and one of our sons ended up playing football and becoming so good that he was encouraged by coaches to play in college, which he ended up doing. So it's not that it won't end up being something that to them is important. But you have to decide when they're young if you want some other big rocks in their life.
Just be aware of it. And we're going to stop right there, because next week we're going to get into more the teenage years. A lot of the tips we'll give you right now is how to be proactive when they're little. And in the teenage years is when I started making a lot of mistakes myself. And I already told you a little bit about it. But how can you replace criticism with listening? We'll talk about that next week. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. Follow us on Cesar and Pam, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And we really want to help you get to the top of whatever you feel God is calling you to do, whether it be within the church or whether it be in your business, in your career, but without sacrificing your family in the process. So
we're Cesar and Pam, cesarandpam.com.
See you on the next one, and send us your questions, your comments right here. Tell us where you're coming from, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.